the Kraft Agency, Dave Kraft. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Bart. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome back.
Thanks.
Dave is the president of the Kraft Agency and about to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the company.
That's right. I'm not 100 myself, although some days I feel like it, but 1923 will be our 100th anniversary, and we're starting to gear up for that, and we're all pretty excited.
So it was two Kraft brothers that
My
started.
grandfather and his brother started our company in 1923, and they did real estate and insurance. And of course, the real estate part fell away over the years, and all we do now is insurance.
Seemed like that was a traditional pairing of businesses, real estate and insurance, back in the day.
It seems like it was, and I can see how they go hand in hand quite well, but we'd rather focus on one thing and do it really, really well.
Well, I know you've been working the last few months getting ready to celebrate all next year, so we'll have more on that in the days and weeks ahead.
Indeed.
You know, I was thinking 100 years is a long time, but this building and the businesses that have been in it have been Kraft Agency customers for 60 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so much appreciated too. But you know, that's one thing about Jackson and about our business is that we tend to develop really long-term relationships, and we feel that's good for everybody. I mean, it's good for the client, it's certainly good for us, it's good for the community, it's good for the insurance companies, it's a great thing.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's peace of mind, and I guess that's really a phrase that the industry uses.
It is.
You don't want to think about it, you just want to know it's there when you need it.
Right. Yeah, and hope you don't have a hurricane.
Yeah, and look at the damage in Florida. They're estimating $60 billion.
Is that right? I hadn't
Yeah.
heard a number bannered around yet, but that's insane. Some of that damage down there, and there are going to be years in recovery.
So there's so many misconceptions about insurance when it comes to a storm like that. A lot of people that get interviewed on the news, oh, we didn't have insurance, or we can't get insurance, or there's no such thing as insurance. That's not true.
No, it's not true. Florida is a really challenging market because of the waterfront and the hurricane exposure. So a lot of insurance companies don't like to provide coverage in Florida. So if you're in Florida, you do have some limited options, and what they'll find is that for things like hurricane and water damage, as opposed to a standard deductible, they might have a percentage deductible. It might be 5% or 10% of perhaps the home's value. So that could be a pretty big number. And of course, a lot of those properties that were on the Gulf front are very expensive.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that we've seen even around Michigan, because of the inflationary environment we've been in for the last several months, that we're seeing construction costs go up, you know, and now they're really going to go up because there's going to be so much construction going on down in Florida. And so when you see somebody who has their house insured, say for $100,000, well, really, truly, to replace that house today, it might be $150,000 or more. So we really encourage everyone, because of inflation, to look at their insured values and to make sure that they are comfortable that they can replace what they have for the amount of insurance that they're buying.
Is there a product that does adjust to inflation?
Well, there is some inflation guard built into most policies, but that's usually something like 3, maybe 4%. Of course, today, you know, we're seeing 8, 9, or whatever percent. I mean, it's higher than that, I believe, at times too. So, and that's also based upon whatever value you had. So you want to make sure that that value, you know, you might be getting a 3 or 4% bump every year, but is that value still where it should be? So everyone should really look at their home values and businesses too, at, you know, your building value, your contents values, to make sure you can replace what you have for the amount of coverage that you're buying.
And not just the tight construction market making it even tighter with that, but the materials. There's still a shortage of some of the materials.
Right, still hard to get stuff.
And probably Florida was a supplier of certain things. I don't know what, but
Yeah, probably so.
yeah.
And you know, and they're going to have issues with cars down there. You know, I've got clients who lost their car. Well, they can't find a rental car to save their life,
Yeah.
and they're just not available. And there is a shortage of cars anyway. I mean, this is going to complicate our already problematic situation even more.
And it's not just Florida. We're
No.
gonna feel the effects.
Everyone's going to feel the effects.
So
for
we
sure.
we don't live in a hurricane prone area, but we do have potential for floods. We've got tornadoes.
Right.
We've got bad windstorms. There's a lot of things that can happen.
A lot of things that can happen. I mean, fire, whatever. So regardless of the fact that we aren't susceptible to hurricanes, thank goodness, check your property values. Make sure you're comfortable with what you have.
Those businesses that operated, say, on Sanibel Island,
Yeah.
maybe it's a pizza place. They're never going to be able to be open until the rest of the community is rebuilt and,
Right.
and the bridge is restored. There are insurance products for businesses that would cover interruption like that, isn't
For
there?
sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Assuming that they carried it, but there's business income coverage on most business policies for that kind of thing. Now, will that be enough to get them through whatever length of time it's going to take to get back up and running? And let's say you get back up and running and you've been reimbursed for what you would have generated had you been open. It doesn't mean there's going to be people there to come into your pizza shop.
So
It's
we've
really
got-
problematic.
Yeah, and plus we've got just before the hurricane, there's inflation prices are going up, so that really becomes a two-sided equation with the potential for premiums rising just in keeping with the rate of inflation,
Yep.
but the things that you would buy with the replacement dollars that
Are going to go up and up.
goes up too.
hmm
So
It's a real double-edged sword.
you really have to stay on top of it.
You really do. And for people down there, they're going to get calls from people trying to, come out and fix things really quick. Those contractors are going to pay, or they're going to charge a huge premium. Make sure they're legit. Make sure you're getting, getting what you're signing up for. Don't pay a big dollar amount up front unless it's someone that you really know and they're very reputable. I know that the state will try to monitor that stuff to a large extent, but there's going to be a lot of opportunity for fraud, so
Yeah.
be careful.
I noticed a lot of storm chasing activity with this hurricane. There are hobbyists that just run around. They outfit their SUVs with hundreds of $1,000s worth of equipment.
Right.
Someone like that, they must be hard to insure.
I don't insure any of them, but tell them to give me a call. I'd like to try.
Oh, it seems like a lot of them do get. It's a risk,
For sure. The
lose their-
high-risk opportunity, yeah.
lose their equipment. And then the reporters that stand out in the middle of the storm, they might be violating a part of their insurance policy by doing something such high risk.
Well, that would probably be on their employer, but yeah, that always surprises me when you see them out there, and invariably they're young and fairly light,
Yeah.
and these winds are blowing by them, and they're just getting soaked with rain, and yeah, it seems funny.
It's only a matter of time before something really bad happens.
Well, I hope you're wrong.
I hope not.
Yeah.
October is a fun month at the craft agency. I've noticed you've got a lot of Halloween activities.
Oh, we do. Our big thing is that we have the kids of our employees and family members and friends bring their kids in for a big trick-or-treating event, and everyone dresses up for it and gives out candy, and that's always really, really fun. Plus the Michigan State tailgate, of course. That should be interesting this year.
Do you dress up?
Well,
For
I'm
Halloween.
always in disguise, aren't I? Oh, for Halloween? Yeah. I might have some theme wear I may choose to don, depending.
Is Lauren past the trick-or-treat years?
I believe she is, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 2023 is going to be a really big year for us with our 100th year anniversary. Lauren's going to graduate from high school, which blows my mind. Sandy and I will have our 20th anniversary.
Wow.
And Lauren's going to go off to college somewhere, and yeah, 2023 is a big year.
Big year.
Big year.
That's awesome. Also at the Craft Agency, you might be greeted by a cat.
Olaf.
She lives,
He
Olaf, he lives there.
does. Yes, he does.
And he just showed up out of the blue.
Do you remember the polar vortex a
Yes.
few years ago? He showed up at our back door, and his ears were bleeding because they had been frostbit.
Oh no.
And he was very thin and looked, I mean, he just took pity on the poor cat. And the staff said, can we please bring the cat in? You know, it's 40 below zero. And, you know, I'm not completely heartless. So I said, sure, as long as the cat, you know, we find the cat's owner and, you know, when the weather breaks, the cat goes back where it came from. Well, what are we now, 3 years into it? Well, the cat is still very comfortable in our office. But he's a great cat. I mean, I'm more of a dog person personally, but he is a great cat. He has the run of the office, and he's even gotten his own social media presence. So he's a bit of a celebrity.
Well, I've noticed last time I was in the building, it's a big open air office, and he's up on the, I don't know.
Yeah, the mezzanine up
Yeah.
there, right? Yeah, he likes to perch up there and survey his kingdom.
He runs the place. He's the manager.
He is. Yeah.
Night manager.
I work for him.
He's the, he's the last person. He never leaves.
He never leaves. Nope.
Nice. Well, it's always great to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Bart. Good to
bet.
see you.
Celebrating 100 years next year. Amazing. From the Craft Agency president, Dave Craft.
Thank you.